Hey guys, Chris here with the 850R tonight. So I wanted to share some pretty cool news on this car. First of all, I just got back from a road trip out to Pittsburgh a couple weekends ago, and the car performed flawlessly. It was probably about 700-800 miles total, and it was for the Vintage Grand Prix. You probably saw the video on that on the channel, and the car just performed flawlessly. I was hanging out with Dr. M3 and Tedward and Eli from Ignition Tube and a few other YouTubers, and we were doing tunnel runs and riding around with supercars, and the car really just held its own and got a lot of positive reactions and attention, and it was just a joy to travel with, and it was really nice. Before I left, I did a little bit of a brake upgrade, so I upgraded from the 280mm stock rotors up to 302mm rotors with the caliper brackets from I think it's a 1998 Volvo S70 T5. So a little bit better braking performance, and I went with Porterfield R4S pads on all four corners, as well as new rotors in the rear as well. So the car finally stops, and it feels really, really good. So the big news I wanted to share, it has to do with Autoweek Magazine. This is their latest issue from this month. It is called the 4th annual 30 and Under issue. And you'll actually see on the cover is my friend Bradley Brownell in his Porsche, his yellow mellow project Porsche. He and I go back a long way, actually. We used to rallycross together way back when I first got my driver's license. And he's got an article in here which is really cool. And also, there is an article on my Volvo 850R right here. You can actually go online. I'm going to put a link to this in the description. Check it out. It'll be right there. You can actually go online and download and read this article if you're interested. If you haven't seen it already, a lot of friends have been tagging me in posts and saying stuff. But article was written by Graham Kozak. He did a fantastic job. Interviewed me. Basically just talked about the car and my history with it, how I came about to purchase it, and I took some of the photos for the article here. And it's a really cool thing to have, and to be able to see my car in Autoweek Magazine. I think it's good to give these cars some P80 love and see some of that, and people appreciate it as well. I also have some photos a couple pages later with the new 2018 STI article. So cool stuff, lots of Chris Amos photography content in the latest issue of Autoweek. Check it out, it's a good read. I think Graham kind of did a really good job encapsulating my passion and story with this car, because it is kind of a neat story. And if you don't know it, I've made videos on it, but they're kind of old and they've kind of been lost in the noise with my channel. So I'll kind of go through the story again here in this video and give you guys kind of a refresher. So I'll start at the beginning. If you just want to read the article, go read the article right now. But I'll kind of give you a summary of it while we go for a little drive here. It all started in high school. My dad gave me his 1995 Volvo 850. Now this was a 5-speed manual car. He bought it new. It had been in the family since 1995. And I kind of grew up in that car. We also had a 1990 Volvo 240. And we've always kind of been a Volvo family since I was a really young kid. And this 850 was just a fantastic car. It handled well, it drove really well. It was so much fun to drive, and especially with the 5-speed manual. It was a good car. I autocrossed it, I tracked it, I did a little bit of racing. It's kind of what got me into rallycross and autocross and track stuff, and it's really the car that I learned to drive on. So in college, I sold that car and bought a 2010 GTI. And a couple years later, I met a buddy, Jared, who eventually bought this. And he got this from a doctor. I think it was somewhere kind of in the Midwest. It had been really well cared for. It was just in immaculate condition. It was a really beautiful car, and as you can see, it still is. And I told Jared, I said, man, whenever you're ready to sell this car, I will buy it from you. And a couple years ago, he called me up. He said, Chris, I'm ready to kind of do some mods to he had a convertible E36 BMW M3 at the time. He's like, I'm ready to do some mods to the M3. I think I want to sell you the Volvo. So I was like, all right, I'll take it. A couple weeks later, it was in my driveway. I picked it up, and I've owned it ever since. So I've had this for a little over 2 years now. I've been driving it pretty regularly. I bought it with just under 111,000 miles, and right now I've got 118,540. So I've been putting some mileage on it. I'm not afraid to drive this car. I think these older Volvos need to be driven to kind of keep them in good shape, and you're not going to hurt them. So my goal with this car has kind of been, first of all, it's a really surreal experience owning one, because this was kind of my high school dream car. I always aspired to own the 850R in high school, because that was kind of the pinnacle of the Volvo 850. They were so rare, you rarely ever saw them. Nobody really had one, and it just became this really desirable thing that I always wanted. And when I finally got one a couple years ago, it was kind of a weird experience, because it just, every time I walked up to it and looked at it, I couldn't quite believe that it was mine and that I owned it and that it was in my possession. It was kind of cool. So just ever since I've bought it, I've kind of been updating it just a little bit. I've put a lot of IPD parts on this car. I've done an IPD Turboback Exhaust and a bunch of bushings, like polyurethane engine mount and subframe bushings, as well as IPD Sway Bars, which made a really, really nice difference. And I did an IPD turbo control valve too, because the car was overboosting at one point. And it's really just turned into a fantastic driver. Handles well, it actually stops now. Power feels really good. I'm just very, very happy with the way this car has turned out. And I think it's cool that it's finally getting a little bit of love on Autoweek Magazine. I think that's just awesome. Put it in a sport mode, give you guys some revs here. Let's see if we can get a good merge onto the highway here. Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah. Still pulls. This car is just begging for a manual swap, but I'm holding out a little bit on that. I think I'd be glad to do it in maybe a couple years or so, over a winter when I have the space. I already kind of know the guy to do it. That's the cool thing about the Volvo community, is that I've gone through Volkswagens, I've gone through Subarus, and the Volvo community still remains my favorite, because it's just a kind of a smaller, tight-knit group of people who are really passionate about their cars, and they kind of have this whole underdog thing going on. It's kind of the way it is with Volvos. And everyone's really helpful and really nice, and I've actually had some friends that I've had for quite a while who are still into Volvos, and it's neat that those are kind of the few people that I've actually stayed in touch with over time. So someday we'll be doing a manual swap on this, don't worry. I think it needs manual swap and maybe just a little bit more power, nothing crazy, but it wouldn't hurt to have just a few more pounds of boost and a front limited slip differential. Anyway guys, so for those of you who have been asking for more 850R videos, here you go. Here's one. There's another pull for you. What's next with this car? I think, I don't know. Right now I'm just going to kind of enjoy it a little bit. I've got some priorities that I want to do, things that I want to do with the Miata. And right now the BRZ is sitting really well. I'm pretty happy with kind of all of the cars that I have right now. Between the BRZ, the Miata, and this. This is kind of my perfect garage. All these cars mean something to me. They all kind of have good stories behind them. And I'm really enjoying owning them. I don't think I'm looking to get into anything else anytime soon, though you never know. We'll see what happens. So anyway, guys, if you're still watching, thanks for all the support recently. I think we just hit 15,000 subscribers on the Topher. That's pretty cool, pretty exciting. I didn't really expect things to kind of pick up this quickly, but I'm really glad that they have, because it gives me the resources and opportunity to kind of do some more with the channel and bring you guys just a little bit of extra content on top of what I'm doing for Winding Road Magazine. So I appreciate the support. I wouldn't be doing this without all of the positivity and the stuff that you guys post on the videos. I'm trying to do as much as I can, so thanks again. We're going to park things right up here, and I think that'll wrap this video up. I mean, basically that's kind of what the article pulls together. Graham talks a little bit about these cars and kind of where they are in the marketplace these days as well. And again, it was a pleasure working with these guys on this, and hopefully you guys enjoy the read. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is we took the car drag racing out in Pittsburgh, and it ran a 15.2. I think at 94 or 95 miles an hour. Went to Keystone Raceway. Car did pretty well. Did a nice big smoky burnout.
Time for a Volvo burnout. Whoa, we got smoke.
Heyo.
Oh,
still
nice,
smoking.
Nice stage. Wow, we're still smoking. Look at this. So wait, how many years are between these cars?
His is
It's like 20 years newer.
Yeah, I think so. This is 96.
His is probably a 14 or 15. To me, that wasn't 20 years ahead of you.
No, that was a pretty good run. Car feels good. You can see that on Tedward's vlog on Winding Road from the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix. Yeah, happy. That's a good baseline for the car. I think that's about where it should be. We'll build it from here. See what happens. Anyway, thanks again for watching. We'll catch you guys later. I've really also got to give a shout out to Mark Harris from Auto Lavish. He runs a fantastic detailing business here in the Detroit area, and this car wouldn't look as good as it does without all the painstaking, miserable hours that he put into polishing and sealing this car. He did a pretty amazing job doing some paint correction on this car, and it turned out fantastic. And it's all sealed up with C-Quartz UK and all that good stuff. So if you guys are in Detroit or in the area and you're looking for a solid detailer, hit up Mark. He is fantastic to work with and cares way more about all the details than I would ever imagine someone to do. So, which is what you want. That's about right.